Every self-improvement guru who tells you, forget about trauma, just take action, bro, is lying to you. But this video has every tip, trick, and hack that you need to know about getting over your trauma forever. And believe me, once you get over your trauma forever, your life changes so much for the better that you can't even fathom it. So take notes and thank me later. My name is Yash. I've been on self-improvement for 3 years now, and I have actually been through a few traumatic experiences, and to be honest, they're too personal for me to feel comfortable revealing them on camera right now. But what I can say is that I know I'm not alone, and I know a lot of people also go through the same thing. So how can I help you to better get over your trauma? The first thing is that the secret is in acceptance. I made an Instagram reel about this the other day, but it felt like not very many people actually understood what I was trying to get at. So I'm going to use this YouTube video as a way for me to explain this concept better. If you've read the book Letting Go by David R. Hawkins, you'll know what I mean. But essentially, when we have a traumatic experience, we have certain thoughts about it. And we have so many thoughts that are similar that our mind buckets them into these things we call emotions. So let's say I have the traumatic experience of being kidnapped. And let's say that these kidnappers were wearing balaclavas. I might have the thought that, I felt super unsafe being kidnapped. I saw the people with balaclavas running at me, and then they pick me up and then throw me into a car. And so now my brain might think balaclavas equals unsafe. And so that all gets bucketed into the bucket of anxiety and basically feeling unsafe. So that is that emotion. And we have many of these buckets that we associate with different parts of this traumatic experience. And so I just want to also add a disclaimer, and I'm not a registered doctor, physician, therapist, anything like that. So please do, if you really do need it, consult medical advice. But I think that you can actually get over trauma yourself, and I think it's actually more effective than therapy. Back to what I was saying, we bucket these thoughts into emotions. And then what does that do? That these emotions sort of stay untapped in our brain. So we have this experience. I have these thoughts of feeling unsafe. I have these other thoughts of fear. I have these other thoughts of being, unlovable, some sort of hopelessness. And so if you've read the book Letting Go by David R. Hawkins, which is basically where I learned everything of this from, you'll know that there's an emotional scale. At the bottom of the scale, we have emotions like shame and guilt. And these emotions are actually experienced by most of us in our lives, even if we don't know it, right? So if I go out to play sport and I don't know, I do something stupid, I miss the ball or whatever, I'm going to feel a certain level of shame. But the thing is, I have not dealt with those emotions properly. I have not let go of those emotions in the specific way which I'm about to tell you. And so what happens, that shame kind of stays in the back of my mind, and it's just kind of there passively taking up like memory from my brain. It's like if you have your phone and you have a process running in the background that you don't really know about, but it is running in the background, it will reduce the performance of your phone. The same thing happens when you think about it in terms of your brain and emotions. If you have these background processes, these background emotions running in your mind, they will reduce your performance. And so we have all these buckets of emotions associated with this traumatic experience that are unspent. These emotions need to be let go consciously in the way I'm about to tell you for them to be spent. Otherwise, they'll just stay as running background processes in our brain, and then we wonder why our trauma continues to haunt us and continues to impair our ability to form relationships, to behave properly, to speak to other people, to get over our social anxiety, to go for that new promotion in that job, whatever it is that your trauma is holding you back from doing, it is most certainly because the emotions associated with that trauma have not been let go. And so that begs the question, how do you let go? And this is where you need to trust me, because letting go is extremely simple. It's a million times more effective than meditation, gratitude journaling, dopamine detoxing, going to therapy, speaking to your friends about it. It's a million times more effective than that. But it's so simple and so basic that most people never even do it. Most people just skip it because they think, oh yeah, it's too basic. Oh yeah, it's not going to work on me. I'm some special snowflake. But you have to realize that that's not true, right? It works. It works on a fundamental level of consciousness. And everything I'm saying right now sounds very woo-woo and it sounds very difficult to trust. And I understand it sounds too good to be true, right? How can something so simple be so powerful? But it is. And just trust me. Just trust me when I tell you that letting go is the way. And I don't have an agenda here to push onto you. I'm not trying to sell you some $997 course or whatever. I'm just telling you what has worked for me, what I've read in books, what actually does work, and I've tried it myself and it's amazing. And all you do is you sit and you think about the experience that you've had, the traumatic experience. Right, let's imagine I got kidnapped. Thankfully, I have not been kidnapped, but let's imagine it, right? I will think about that, and I'll start to get these thoughts of those people in balaclavas were very scary and unsafe. So, or that white van which I got thrown into was super scary and unsafe. I'll get these thoughts, and then I can start to bucket those thoughts consciously. I can start to think, okay, what emotions are these thoughts evoking? And I'll get emotions like fear, fear of seeing people in balaclavas. I'll get emotions like anxiety, uncertainty about what happens if I'm in a car with people I don't know. And so then I can, once I've identified these emotions, what can I do from there? I can actually just sit in the emotion. And this sounds super weird, right? But just all I need to do in order to let go this insane process that I've been hyping up to you this whole time is you just sit there and let the emotion wash over you. Don't try to change it. You don't try to do anything to it. You don't try to manipulate it. You don't judge the emotion. You just let it exist. And you let it exist in your mind and meditate on that emotion until you come to terms with that emotion. So if I just sit here, and obviously this is a fake scenario, so it's hard for me to actually feel the emotion, but let's imagine I'm feeling very anxious about this thing, or I've resurfaced the anxiety about guys in balaclavas, and I'm just allowing that fear to really sink in, and I'm really feeling that fluttering in my heart about what if I see a guy in a balaclava down the street? I feel like I'm gonna get kidnapped again. And really sit in that feeling, really sit deep in that feeling, and allow it to consume your mind entirely. And it's a scary process, but for the first time, right, you're not sure because you've not ever actually experienced these negative emotions fully. You've never actually let them release in a systematic way. But the thing is, it's a million times healthier than letting it bubble up in some scenario when you're not expecting it, right? It's a lot better to release this emotion consciously and in a controlled manner compared to me going to the gym and then I see a guy on the street in a balaclava and I suddenly sprint and I do something, I knock some person's coffee over or something in the process and they get mad at me or whatever, right? It's a lot better to do this in a controlled manner. And that is it, right? So the steps are, you think about the traumatic event, you let the emotions bubble up to the surface, the thoughts, then you identify the emotions, then you sit in the emotion, do not change it, do not do anything to it, and you experience it. And basically then it's just a waiting game. You just wait, sit in the emotion until you come to terms with the emotion, and then it just sort of evaporates. Right? If you just do it for long enough, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the emotion just completely evaporates. And guess what? You'll never feel that emotion ever again regarding the same event. I promise you, if I just sit here and meditate upon my fear of balaclavas, eventually my fear of balaclavas will go away and I'll never feel it again. And you need to keep doing this in your daily life. You need to set out 5 minutes in your day to let go of negative emotions that build up in your brain. And the more you do it, the better your life gets. And I promise you it's that simple. Because then, once you've let go of these emotions, guess what? That gives you the space to reframe this trauma as a learning experience, as something which you can learn from and improve your mindset from, and improve yourself as a person and have a better mindset. You know, they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's true. But the thing is, your negative emotions could be killing you. So that's why you need to get rid of those negative emotions first, throw them to the side, let them go to the side. And then that's when you can make this reframe. That's when you can actually use the trauma to make you stronger. And that is how you get over your trauma. I hope it helped. And do all the cool stuff for the algorithm, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.